And you know what? This is the thing. As men, and this is what I had to start thinking about as a man, it's like we are the head of the household. We are the leaders. And women look up to men as the leader. In most situations, kids look up to men. When you look at positions of power, the world always puts men in positions of power. Now it's becoming better for women, and women getting more respect. So there may be a woman who is a mayor, a police chief. We don't see it as much as we need to, but we starting to see it. But men always ask for the leadership role. Men always ask to be the head of the household. Men expect that title. But what we don't think about is you cannot lead a household, a group, a people, a city, a country, if you as a man cannot lead yourself. And what we have to do as men is we honestly have to have an internal audit. You got to have an internal audit, and you got to know what real manhood is to you. And you have to understand what real success is to you. So when I look at a man, I could not care less about his money. When I judge a man, I'm looking at his character. I want to see, what does his character say about him? And based on his character, his integrity, that's how much of a man he is to me. A man can have billions of dollars or trillions of dollars. But if he doesn't have character, if he doesn't have integrity, then he's a boy. He is an immature, grown boy in my eyes. And that's the way I had to start looking at myself, and I had to start understanding, like, listen, you're not a man until you could be a man behind closed doors. You're not a man until you could be a man in the dark. You're not a man until you can walk with integrity and have a code and have ethics when nobody's looking. That's when you become a man. You're not a man until you're not operating from pain and fear and hate or self-hate, hate for others or hate for yourself. You're not a man until you can grow beyond that. You're not a man until you stop taking shortcuts in any area of life. You're not a man. You're not a man until you start to really see the bigger picture, and you start to understand that your currency is your character. And when you allow your character to be your currency, your life goes into a blessed space that you will not see common. You will not see it often. When you deal with other men and you talking to other men, you're going to look and you're going to see some things, and you're going to realize that it is the decisions that you made. It's the changes that you made as a man that changed your life. And see, the thing about it is, as men, we have to get to the place to where we'll rather be sat down, or sent to the wilderness to grow versus being propelled and promoted and positioned but not prepared. See, I done been positioned but not prepared. I done been in a position that I was not ready for because I had not done the internal work. But see, now that I've done the internal work, now as the positions come, I'm able to handle it because I've already seen it. I've already done the work behind the scenes. So I don't even have to show you a highlight reel because I'm at peace with myself. And I'm realizing and understanding that when the good book talks about when a man can control himself, he's strong enough to conquer a whole city. And we don't really process that. We don't think about that enough. A lot of times we just we think about having power and position and prominence and praise and all of these things, but we don't think about the process. We wallow in our pain and we make excuses for our pain. And it's, oh, well, me cheating on my woman don't have nothing to do with the police killing her. And to be honest with you, honestly, the reason I cheat on my woman is like really, like, if I'm being honest, the reason I cheat on my woman is because the police killing her. It's like they kill her, so I'm stressed. So it's like I gotta cheat on her. You see what I'm saying? You got to look at the messages that you giving yourself. Or, well, see, the reason why I'm angry is because the white man racist. That's why I'm angry. You got to look at the messages that you giving yourself. What excuses you giving yourself? Because look, ain't nothing gonna change. Like you can't change another man's heart. But how can you respond to it? How can you outthink it? How can you elevate to another level so that you have position and power in your life, so that what this other man has for you, he can't stop you. He can't stop you because of the work you done put in, because of the position you done put yourself in, to where he need you for a job. He look at you less than, but now he working on your job because of the work you put in. See, you have to realize the quote that says, a problem cannot be solved from the same level of thinking that it was created. Maybe it was Albert Einstein. And that's what you have to look at, is you have to understand that, see, like a grandmaster in chess is 15 moves ahead. A master, somebody real good, might be 5 moves ahead. So what's your next 5 moves? What's your next 3 moves? What's your next move? And is your next move strategic? Is your next move your best move? Now see, what you have to realize is the ripple effect. You sleeping on the small action. Oh, well, what is going to change in the world if I'm faithful to my wife, my girlfriend? What is going to change? I might as well keep cheating. They still going to be killing her. We still ain't going to get no verdicts. I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. You are perpetuating the cycle because you producing brokenness. So if you understand and you thinking on another level, what you start to see, you start to look at the situation and you start to say, okay, let me play this game like this so I can get through this situation. Let me bite my tongue right now in a moment, because I'm not big enough to not be squashed like a bug. So let me bite my tongue right now. They're going to feel like they got a victory. But I'm going to keep building my brand. I'm going to keep building my net worth. I'm going to keep building myself. I'm going to keep building my company, building my family. And when I get to where I got to go, I'm going to know the place and the time to where I really can share what's on my mind, where I really can speak truth to power. But now I'm powerful. Now I'm in a position. So you have to get to that place to where you start to think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. You start to look at the situation and say, you know, I'm not going to take my pain and transfer my pain to my child. Like the stuff that I'm processing as a 36-year-old, I understand that I can't put all that on my 13-year-old. That I got to allow him a space to still be a child and to still go through his maturation process at his own pace. And I give him knowledge, general knowledge, overview of the knowledge, bird's eye view. But then as he needs it, he knows that I'm here and I can further expound upon some of the things that he's seeing and experiencing. But I cannot take my anger, my frustration, and my pain from my life, from the discrimination that I have suffered, and put it on a child and expect him to be able to process it. And a lot of people say, oh no, we got to let the children know of the reality of the world. We got to make them know the reality. You're not expressing the reality because you don't understand the reality. You still processing it yourself. What you're doing is transferring, you dumping your frustration onto your child and calling it educating your child. That's what you're doing. But you have not sat down long enough to process it and to think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead, to strategically map out a plan for your household. You ain't did that. You ain't did that. You shooting from the hip. You reacting instead of responding. And that's what I mean. See, as men, if you want to be the head and you want to be the leader, you got to think ahead. You got to think in ways that you can be strategic, yet strong and powerful in your movements, but it's calculated. And that you operating from a place of power, from a place of confidence, from a place of intelligence, not just shooting from the hip, from fear, from anger, from frustration. You have to channel those feelings into productive feelings. Then so you can see the big picture and you can say, okay, this how they moving. This how I'm finna move. I'm finna do this, do that. And then it's going to put me in this position. When I'm in this position, now I can enact this plan. Now I can implement this plan that I created when I was still on the climb, still in the grind, still building myself, still learning and growing. When they thought I was being quiet, they didn't understand that being quiet is being complicit. See, sometimes you got to sit down and you got to be quiet and you got to survey the land. You got to see what's in front of you so that you can make a plan, because the adversary is just blowing in the wind. The adversary is shooting from the hip. And the adversary may end up having more strategy than you, because you have not thought about how can you advance the ball down the field? How can you move the needle for your family? How can you get your family in a place, in a position, get your family the education, get your family the situation is set up in life based on your actions, based on your stability. See, don't speak from your anger and your frustration and lose your position and then cost your family. So now your family is crippled because you was hot-headed, because you was frustrated, because you was angry. See, we get it confused. We get it confused and we call certain people who may be strategically mapping and planning on taking a different route. We call them weak, scared, soft, simp, Uncle Tom. We misuse words, not understanding that the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. It's the quiet one you got to watch for, because the quiet one done surveyed the room. The quiet one done felt that they done scoped everything out. They done already got a plan while you were yapping at the mouth. The quiet one, who was moving strategic, who was doing what he could do in his household first. Before he positioned his march, he built his integrity, he built his brand, so the whole community respect him because they see how he treat his woman and his children. So now when he say, like Malcolm X did in the movie, now when everybody move. See, what happened is, what we don't realize is that the system, the adversary, they will promote fools. They'll give a fool a platform because they know the fool voice holds no power, because the people don't respect them. So you got a platform, you got a position, but no preparation, because you didn't process the process. You didn't process the process. You didn't analyze what you need to do and how you need to grow so that you can be respected, so that you can have integrity, so that you can have not just worldly success, but have spiritual significance and worldly significance because of the process that you have done behind the scenes, instead of your PR, pictures, and video publicity. Who are you when no one is looking? That will determine your effectiveness in the long run. Hey, just think on this. I don't be on this here Instagram often, but as I get the opportunity, I post, so y'all forgive me.